I'm going to show you some of the more popular ways when it comes to formatting your objects within your presentation. When I talk about objects, I'm talking about things like pictures, shapes, word art. In fact, on slide 1 we've got some text that's been converted, or word art's been applied to the text. In any case, when you want to format your text, just go ahead and click inside the text so it brings up the border of the text box, because the only way you can have text within PowerPoint, editable text, is to go ahead and create a text box so you can place text within it. In any case, go ahead and click and drag to select it. Then come up here to its related contextual format tab. So because it's word art, let's go ahead and change the style of it. Click on the more button, see what else is there. When you hover over this, it gives you a preview of what you have selected on the slide. You can see it on slide 1. It is changing as I zip around from one different style to another. Or you can come down here and clear out the word art style altogether. Click on it, click off in blank area. Nothing special about it. It cleared the previous style, word art style, to the text. Let's go ahead and hit undo. Come back up here. So you got the different options there, but within the group you've got some other options over to the side. You can change the color of the text. Click on the drop down arrow. You got some basic colors. You can choose those, or no fill. You have more fill colors. You can even make it a picture. In fact, before we do that, let's go ahead and go to gradient. And let's do something from the top down. So linear down, you see the shading here. It goes from dark to light. When I hover over that, go ahead and look on the slide there, and you can see the gradient goes from darker up at the top down to the bottom in a lighter shade. In any case, you can choose any of those. Texture, let me go ahead and click on that. I never really liked these. I haven't found one that I liked yet. In any case, let's go ahead and choose picture. Come out here, find a picture like chrysanthemum, double click on it, and click off in a blank area. The center of the flower's there, then it branches out, gets a little bit lighter. Okay, let me go ahead and triple click again. Come back up here. So we did the text fill. You have the outline of the text. If you want to create a border around the text, click on the drop down arrow. We can make it yellow. After you choose a color, you got more options for the weight of it. If you want to make it thicker, if you make it too thick, then it'll just totally bleach out the color of the text, okay? And then you can change the outline of it to dashes. Oh, that's getting just too trippy. Okay. Click on the next feature down below. It's text effects. Click on the drop down arrow. You can give it shadow, which is always fun if you can even see it. In any case, how about a glow? Oh, that's always fun. I like glows. In fact, you got more options. You can click on its expandable dialog box button, and you have all these features over here, including most of the stuff that we just covered, like shadow reflection, glow, soft edges, but a little bit more flexibility than some of the presets that they have available for you when you click on the drop-down arrow here. In fact, if you hover over reflection, you get more reflection options than just the presets up above. Click on it. Opens up the same window, but it takes you to the reflection tab, okay? And then you can go ahead and mess with this and click and drag it for less transparency in the reflection, greater size in the reflection, so it comes down to even further. Let me go ahead and close out. Next, let's go ahead and go to slide 6 and talk about brightness and contrast. Brightness is the lightness of the picture, and contrast is the difference between the darkest and lightest area of the picture. So if you want to increase contrast, you increase the darkness and the lightness between those areas of the picture that are lighter, like here's the lighter part and there's the darker part. You increase it so this becomes darker, that becomes lighter, okay? In any case, to go ahead and to apply brightness and or contrast, go ahead and select the image and then come up here, click on its related format tab, go over to the adjust group, and you can do it one of two ways. You can either come up here and click on the corrections, which has a combination of both contrast and brightness. So if you want those mixed together, then just go ahead. When I hover over it, you can see the change over in the work area for the slide. The ghost is a little bit bleached and the shadow's a little bit darker behind him. In any case, if not, you can go ahead and either click on Picture Correction Options, which will give you the two different options for brightness and contrast. You can work on them separately and not collectively here, or have them tied together. Click on it, brings up the Format Picture window, takes us to the Picture Corrections tab. And there we go, the two separate options, brightness and contrast. So if you just want to work with brightness, click and drag it. To the right, you can see it's changing over here. Did you see that change? It was pretty cool. Spooky. And then contrast. See again, brightness is the lightness of the picture. Contrast is the difference between dark and lightest areas of the picture. And then of course, after you mess with this, you're like, you know what? I don't like it. Let me go ahead and click on Reset. Resets the picture, so all the changes that we made to it goes back to its original here. We can go ahead and close out. Next, let's go to slide 7 because I want to show you how you can set a transparent color. In other words, if you have a single color that you'd like to go ahead and make it transparent. So basically, like this color right here, white, make it transparent so all I see is the color of the slide behind it, the background. Go ahead and select your image, then come up here on the Format tab to the Adjust group. Click on the Color drop-down arrow, and come down here and click on Set Transparent Color. So what you do is you pick a single color in the picture by clicking on this feature. When you click on it, notice when I move my mouse, is that it's got like a little pointer with an angle on it. Wherever I click, that's going to be the single color that I choose that will become transparent. So I don't want to click on a blending of colors because then it won't be able to pick out probably that single color and it may look messy. But this is pretty solid right here, right? The white background, click on it, and it becomes transparent. Click off in blank area and oh, fabulous. I mean, sure, you got a few lines here, but that's because that wasn't the same consistent color as all the other colors, so when it hit up against the wall with that, maybe a shadow, maybe a streamer, who knows what it is, I can't really tell right there, unless I hit undo. Yeah, little streamers right there, I'd have to zoom in, but you know, it's a party, hey, streamers. Different colors than the white backgrounds, so those will be left there. In fact, if I go ahead and I redo the transparency, and I apply other formatting options to the picture, again, if you ever want to go back to the way it was, the original picture, when you do some formatting to it, then come up here to the Format tab, of course, to the Adjust group, and there we go, the Reset picture, click on it, and it resets it, so now we have the original picture, okay? Okay, last thing here, let's go to slide 4, click on that, and I want to show you some SmartArt 3D rotation, and I want to apply it to these shapes right here. Now, if I want to apply it to more than one shape, remember, as we discussed in an earlier training video, go ahead and select one, hold down the Shift key, and select the other. And then come up here, click on its related Contextual Format tab, come here to the Shape Styles group, click on the Shape Effects drop-down arrow, go down to 3D Rotation, and hey, you got quite the choice here. You have the presets, that includes the Parallel group, or Perspective. Let's try Perspective. Click on that one. Click off in blank area. If you want to have more flexibility, instead of just the presets, you want to go ahead and mess with the rotation of it in the 3D format. Go ahead and select it. Again, hold down the Shift key, click on one, select the other. Then come back up here on the Format tab to the Shape Styles group, click on the Shape Effects drop-down arrow. Most of these effects you have or features, you get a bunch of presets, but then if you want to go ahead and tinker with it yourself, not use the presets, usually down at the bottom it will give you more options. Go ahead and click on it, and there you go. You have the X, Y, and Z rotation axis. All you have to do is go ahead and type in the degrees of it, or you can use the up and down arrow. In fact, if I click and drag the title bar down here, so I can move the window out of the way, and I can go ahead and do it this way, you can see it's rotating up here. Let's see the Y-axis. So if you remember your algebra days, the Y-axis is up and down, so it's rotating left or right. The X-axis is horizontal, so it'll rotate up and down around that, and then the Z is the depth. So you can do it that way, or you can go ahead and click on the buttons here and rotate it, twist it, or you can go ahead and type it in numerically or use the up or down arrows, or again, you can click on the drop down arrow and use one of the presets. Parallel, off axis, one left. Let me click and drag this back up because I don't like what I've chosen here. It may take some time to get the perfect 3D effect on these shapes. I'm going to go ahead and click on Reset so we're back to where we started, and close out and click off in a blank area. I do want to point out though, you know how you can go ahead and type in the numbers for the 3D effect for the Z, Y, and X axis? If you're working with somebody else, you can send them the degrees that they should type in instead of telling them, let's see, it's 2 clicks to the left, 3 clicks to the right. It's better when you've got numbers and you can go ahead and type it in numerically for those X, Y, and Z axes.